While the 2020s continue to terrify, let's take a look back at the top 10 films of 2018. When I say top, I mean my personal favourite films. There were loads of great films, so it was really hard to get it down to a top 10. So some other films I really like include Annihilation, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Burning, The Favourite, Leave No Trace, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, Mandy, A Quiet Place, Roma, The Sisters Brothers, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Upgrade. Anyway, let's get on with my top 10. In at number 10, The Guilty. This Danish drama shows just how thrilling a film set in one room can be. We follow a policeman in an emergency call centre who answers a call from a woman being kidnapped. That first call is masterfully done, and as the film goes on, the twists and turns keep you guessing and glued to your seat. It's shot in an inventive way, making the small space it's set in never dull. And at the centre of it all is an astonishing performance from Jacob Cedergren. In at number 9, Avengers Infinity War. The complete opposite of a small budget film set in one room. I kept doubting Marvel, but Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers delivered big time, with this epic team-up of superheroes fighting against a giant purple alien who wants to wipe out half of life in the universe. It shouldn't work, but does due to its great cast, a fun script and a surprisingly dark ending. I saw it in Hanoi, and the silence after the final shot was one of the great cinema-going experiences. I was having a ball. I felt just like Fester in that famous Addams Family cartoon.
I don't want to go, sir, please. Please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
In at number 8, Hereditary. Ari Aster's incredible directorial debut is really, really horrible. The film is both beautifully made and totally repellent. Toni Collette gives a career best performance as a mother dealing with a rather odd daughter and with the death of her own mother. Horrid things start to happen, and the film is filled with disturbing imagery and unsettling moments. Astor proved himself with his dark comedy short, The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, but here he shows what he could do on the big screen. It's a brilliantly made film, and one of the best horrors of the last decade. In at number 7, 8th Grade. I've never been a 13-year-old American schoolgirl, but this brilliant film totally made me relate to one. Bo Burnham's film is one of the best high school films of all time, or pre-high school. It's filled with actual young people, not 28-year-old models. Elise Fisher's performance as an anxiety-ridden, awkward, lonely girl is terrific. She's totally believable, and it's painful to watch her struggle through embarrassment and isolation. She has a crush on a boy, but unlike most films set at a school, this isn't about love or sex. The most important relationship in this movie is her relationship with her loving yet embarrassing father. It's one of the great father-daughter relationships in film. The film also does a fantastic job of not feeling like a director telling stories from their youth. This feels totally contemporary, with phones and the internet being ever present. A marvellous movie. In at number 6, Mission Impossible Fallout. Who would have thought that the 6th Mission Impossible film would be the best? The story is the usual fare. There's a mole in the MIF. But the plot doesn't matter. What matters is the action, and the action here is out of this world. Tom Cruise is a madman. He was 56 when he made this, the same age Sid James was in Carry On Camping. He can still run and do a lot more than that. What a thrill it is to see this diminutive actor leap around and fly helicopters. Great fun. In at number 5, Climax. A very different type of ride, or maybe trip is a better word to use. Me and Chris reviewed it a few years ago, so I'll leave that review up here and down in the description below. In at number 4, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. The Coens direct this anthology western. As with all anthologies, some segments are stronger than others, and for me, the Tom Waits Prospector one and the one with Liam Neeson and a legless man are both great, but the standout one is the Zoe Kazan one. Chris went to go see that at the London Film Festival in 2018, so I'm going to be incredibly lazy yet again and leave it up here and down in the description below.
I'm Buster Scruggs.
Your shooting iron work.
Appears to do, yes.
In at number 3, They Shall Not Grow Old. Peter Jackson's World War I documentary is amazing. The work that went into this is astonishing. He's certainly not lazy, but I am. So here's our review from 2018, up above and down below. This is about the only year I can get away with doing this. In at number 2, Shoplifters, one of the best Japanese films of recent years. Koreeda Hirokazu further proves himself as a modern-day Ozu. Much like that director, his films focus on family, and here he goes even further, analysing what really makes a group of people a family. Here we have a family brought together not by blood relations, but by poverty and desperation. A group of people hit by the recession who must now resort to minor crimes, such as shoplifting, to get by in the world. Even though they are not related to each other, their love and caring for one another is what keeps them together. The entire family is made up of actors giving truly excellent performances. I won't butcher their names here, but each one gives a unique performance, taking a brilliant script and doing it more than justice. Even the children give perfect performances. It looks wonderful and has shots that bring to mind the cliché, "A picture can tell 1,000 words." It has real heart at its core, and it's a film about family, kindness, desperation and inequality. It's an absolutely brilliant film. And in at number 1, Cold War. I'd heard nothing but good things about this film, but the poster put me off seeing it for years. It just looked like a standard romantic movie, but this is anything but that. Set over 3 decades, this is an epic yet also relatively small-scale, tragic romance set during the Cold War in Europe. It begins in communist-controlled Poland in the 40s, as 2 musicians hold auditions in the countryside for singers and dancers to join a traditional Polish folk music ensemble. During the audition, the quietly serious Victor is rather taken by the alluring Zula, a wild woman who lies her way into the auditions. He becomes infatuated with her, and so in turn does she fall for him. We then follow their romance across Poland, Yugoslavia, Paris and a divided Berlin. The history of Europe's fractured state at the time provides the backdrop and is at all times present, but somewhat also in the background. The centre of the film is their obsession and love for one another. They are certainly not easy people, and their love affair would have been tumultuous in the best of circumstances, but here politics, people, booze and insecurities get in their way. When it's going well, it's hypnotically romantic, and when it's not, it's hypnotically nightmarish. Pawel Pawlikowski's stunning film combines Romeo and Juliet with leaving Las Vegas in a post-war Europe. The setting is captured in such astonishing detail. It doesn't force the period, but you are completely transported to that time. Helping this is the outstanding black and white cinematography. It's one hell of a beautiful film to behold. It also sounds wonderful. It's constantly filled with music, from the traditional folk to communist propaganda numbers to 60s pop and smooth jazz. Nice. There's not a lot of plot here, but it more than makes up for it in feeling and atmosphere. It washes over you and can be overwhelmingly depressing, but also incredibly passionate. One of the greatest romantic films of the century so far. A truly beautiful movie in more ways than one. Right, so counting down my top 10. In at number 10, The Guilty. In at number 9, Avengers Infinity War. In at number 8, Hereditary. In at number 7, 8th Grade. In at number 6, Mission Impossible Fallout. In at number 5, Climax. In at number 4, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. In at number 3, They Shall Not Grow Old. In at number 2, Shoplifters. And in at number 1, Cold War. Well, those are my top 10 films of 2018. Well, there's probably loads I've missed out, so what are your favourite films of 2018? Cheers.